Mujahidoon. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. At a loss of what to write, at a loss even to understand what performing the sacred might even mean, I was scribbling on my journal when it occurred to me that these protests, these revolutions, all those who are oppressed, when they reject oppression, reject suppression, when they give a voice to freedom, to justice, to love, are actors in the finest performance of protecting what is sacred. I was running through the events of the past few days in my mind, whilst I traced my pen across the pages of my journal. The massacre in Syria, the heavy bloodshed in Egypt, and the weeks and months that led up to them. And lost then in reverie, I returned to a late evening of last summer in my grandparents' living room in Jordan. The television was on, and the Syrian uprising had only began making headlines some days ago. Then there was far too much blood and cruelty in the news, and so many prayers in my grandparents' house. It was in the middle of the holy month of Ramadan, and all of these revolutions were still very hated. And I realized as I sat, some months later, only a few days ago now, on the couch in my parents' living room, that these revolutions have been a constant for a year now. To think that thousands of people have perished and that death has become such a close companion of our times, where, to keep the truth alive, people have had to speak against regimes that would have them massacred. To think that their jihad, their struggle, has been the single constant in my own life for some months now. The surprises are fading, and a slow realization dawns upon me. There is no life for us on this earth, except to be given for the sake of establishing justice. These revolutionaries died for this sacred cause. We've only been asked to live for it. The bearers of truth, who struggle for the sake of establishing goodness on the earth, these are the Mujahidoon. The ones who struggle to fulfill their role upon this earth, the ones who live to perform the sacred. And I think to myself now, as I type away a story, a past long ago, when God told the angels he was creating Adam. In the Quran he says, "I will create a vicegerent on earth." And the angels responded, "Wilt thou place therein one who will make mischief and shed blood, whilst we do celebrate thy praises and glorify thy holy name?" He answered, "I know what ye know not." And I reflect, when we've all the same purpose, to establish the sacred truth and justice of God, to establish his kindness and love upon this earth, how is it that some members of humanity begin forgetting their only vicegerents and start acting as though they thought they were God? Forgetting all the while our very purpose, completely heedless of it, enjoying as they slowly ascend the ranks, the power which they are so deluded to think is a gift for their greatness, instead of the test and responsibility that it truly is. To protect the sacred, to protect justice, honor, life, and truth, and remind oneself that this is the very reason one exists, helps one live the sacred and act the part well enough that it becomes one's identity. And one slowly loses the arrogance that divides humanity, what insists on keeping people distinct and unique, when in truth the only thing that keeps us special is that which keeps us united, our souls and our willingness to give from them for others' well-being. It is our jihad, our struggle, which speaks against oppression, which checks injustice, which sacrifices, that keeps us human, that makes us worthy of our titles as the vicegerents of the all-merciful, the loving, and the just. It is by embracing an identity where we become a people of struggle that we can perform the sacred in this world and in this time. Time and life is of the essence. Thank you.